pleasing is hard to quit because you take pride in it. And not only you, everyone does it. It's like, I'm such a nice person. I do everything for everyone. I'm so reliable. I just give out my time and effort so freely. No one else does that. Sounds like a great person, right? Well, of course, to everybody else, because you're constantly putting their needs above yours. But when it comes to yourself, you're not a very nice person at all. And that's the thing. People pleasing is rooted in external validation and trying to control other people's perceptions of you. And the worst part about this entire thing is that if you are a people pleaser, you don't even know it. And that's because a lot of the time, people pleasing is caused by the way we were raised, what behaviors were conditioned in us on what was considered good versus bad. And so people pleasing becomes a very normalized lifestyle and even a survival mechanism for so many people. And I'll explain this more in chapter 1 when I discuss the science and the reasoning behind why we become people pleasers in the first place, what are the causes of them, because it's only when you understand that you'll finally be able to work back from it and get rid of your people pleasing tendencies to finally gain freedom and put yourself first. And speaking of the chapter breakdown for this video, the first chapter will discuss that. The second chapter will discuss how to actually stop people pleasing, all of the methods and lifestyle changes involved in achieving this. And then finally we have chapter number 3, which will give you a step-by-step breakdown of how to transform your behavioral patterns away from people pleaser to assertive, confident girl. I spent years as a teenager as a people pleaser, putting other people in front of me first, wanting to be liked, trying to guess how somebody would react to me, trying to make sure that I was this perfect person that couldn't be disliked by anybody. And once I finally did the inner work, which is what you're gonna learn in this video, I finally became that bad bitch that was so unfazed by anybody's reactions to her authenticity that I finally became so happy and content in my own life. Burnout was gone, resentment was gone, and I also gained a close knit of friends that actually love and appreciate me for who I am so that I can live my life on my own terms. Chapter 1, the causes of people pleasing. And the first cause, of course, is childhood. This innate desire to prioritize other people's joy, happiness, and needs before your own often stems from your own upbringing. Chances are you could have had controlling parents or just parents that weren't able to give you the time, affection, care, or emotional support that you needed. Or you had parents that conditioned you to associate being good or getting things done with encouragement, love, or time and affection. Basically, you didn't get the bare minimum requirements of love and care from your parents unless you did something first to earn it or you behaved in the right way. And this basically taught you as you're growing up into a person that you have to do things in order to earn love and affection by being overly compliant and agreeable and playing life by everybody else's rules. That's the only way that you're gonna get through. And what I just described is a form of parent pleasing, which as we grow up turns into general people pleasing. Whatever way you were raised deems what you think is acceptable behavior in adult life and as you grow up. So when you were growing up and you were conditioned to act in a way to be able to avoid punishments or just be able to earn some time and affection, no wonder you people please today, because you were never taught that disappointing or letting down others is actually just a super normal and acceptable part of life and being with others. And then the effect of having this type of childhood means that when you grow up and you're in a situation where you don't like what's going on or it's not making you happy, you don't have the strength or even the ability to be able to say no in that situation, stand up for yourself, or fight the battle that you need to, because you've had no life practice in doing so. So actually, how are you even supposed to? This isn't your fault. You've literally been taught how to live and you haven't been provided with the tools that you need to not be a people pleaser. On top of that, a little bit of anxiety will be ingrained in you as you're growing up because you are constantly trying to predict people's opinions of you, their behavior, their next move, their reaction from your behavior, because that's how you had to live as a child to make sure that your home or your relationship with your parents was a safe and happy place for you. This leads me onto my next point, which is the addiction of it all. We all know that people pleasing is wrong. It's probably why you searched up how to stop people pleasing today and started watching this video, right? We know it's not something that serves us or is going to get us to a good place in our life. So why can't we stop it? The reason people pleasing is so addictive and hard to break out of is because it has been used to bolster up your confidence for such a long amount of time. Because although people pleasing is bad for you, it elicits such a positive response in everybody else. When all you hear on a daily basis is, you're the nicest person I've ever met. You're so loyal. I can always count on you. Oh my God, no one else does these favors for me. You're so nice. I can't believe it. You were practically fooled into thinking you are the perfect human being ever because you're doing everything for everybody else and putting yourself in last place. So when you're receiving all of this praise, all of the validation, everybody likes you, what is really motivating you to break out of that? That's what keeps it such an addictive cycle. But lastly, there are truly so many personal reasons that can cause our people-pleasing tendencies. Maybe for you it isn't from your childhood, maybe it's from your first relationship, which really influenced the kind of person that you grew up into. Maybe it's some sort of abuse that you encountered, whether it be with a friend, with a partner, with a family member. Maybe it's low self-esteem or this fear of rejection. And so before we move on to the next chapters in this video, I really want you to pause and make sure that you're making time for self-reflection to discover what your personal reasons are. Ask yourself, where does this come from? What am I afraid of will happen if I be authentic or fight back in this situation or get rid of my need or concern to be nice? What do I think will be the consequence of not doing that? Do I have a need to be accepted by others? Am I trying to mirror other people's behaviors so that I'll be liked? Why is that? Do I feel like I lack friendship? Do I feel like I am a bad person inherently and that people won't like me if I'm just myself? Do I feel like I am here to entertain people and that is what my value is? Do I have a fear of rejection? Do I seek out validation because otherwise I don't feel good about myself on a daily basis? You really need to find out what your personal root cause is so that you can get to the root of the issue and really help yourself. And I know some of those questions sound a little bit ugly and a little bit icky, like no one wants to say I have a fear of rejection and I really need validation from other people so that I feel better about myself for this day. But honestly, this process, along with any other form of inner work or healing, requires a little bit of ugliness, a little bit of ickiness to really take a look inwards and admit, I do this thing that's not good for me. And I've been doing it for a very long time. And a lot of the time, it's not your fault, okay? A lot of the time, it's a habit we've been stuck into or we've been taught. So really be compassionate with yourself through this. And although it's not gonna feel nice in the moment and it's gonna make your ego take a little bit of a hit, remember, it's going to be the thing, this realization, that's gonna get you to the other side where you are no longer, ever in your life, again, going to have to Google the question, how do I stop people pleasing? And this leads us to chapter number 2, methods to stop people pleasing. Step number 1, stop anticipating or even concerning yourself with other people's reaction. The thing that makes us stuck in this people pleasing cycle is thinking, well, if I say this, they're going to be upset, or they might not want to be my friend, or it's going to make them uncomfortable if I say no, or they really, really need me, so how can I let them down? No, none of your concern. Literally none of your concern. Assuming somebody else's reaction before it even happens is a complete waste of your time and also your very precious energy, because now you're having to stress about something twice because you're doing it before the thing has even happened. 2, you can't control how other people react or perceive or respond to your actions. That is entirely their right. You have to let them do that. 3, it's low-key, high-key manipulative to try and assume what somebody's reaction is going to be and thus alter what your behavior is going to be able to control what the outcome of the situation is going to be like. 4, that literally takes away from your own authenticity and joy every single day because you are in actor mode. You are stressing so much about how to be so that you can control everybody around you and the perception of you. That's just not fun for anybody. And 5, thinking something like, well, if I say this and the person might be a bit moody with me or not talk to me or be angry at me, good. Literally good. They are exercising their human right to experience and display the full range of human emotions. They are allowed to be angry, they are allowed to be disappointed. You have to let them do that. Just like you have to let yourself experience your full range of emotions and actually express them rather than hiding and suppressing them, and then this person not fully understanding you or your needs. 2, your validation does not come from other people. I've said it once and I'll say it again. No one can have a valid opinion of you because no one is you. Every perception somebody else has of you is based off of their own projections, life beliefs, traumas, opinions, life experiences, etc. And so the only valid opinion there will ever be of you is from you. And therefore, the way that you live and your behavior should match that fact. So ask yourself, what's going to make me feel happy? What's going to improve my day? How can I advance in my career? What do I feel like I won't tolerate? What is true love made up in my eyes? 3, get creative in developing your own authentic personality. Here's the thing. Yes, we are kind of born with a personality and who we are, but we have to be able to unlock that because we float through life being taught what is good, what is bad, what is approved of, what is cringy. And so instead, we gain all of these layers of our personality on top of our true authentic one to be able to fit in with society, be accepted, not be cast out or rejected. That's just human nature. Every single person does it, not just you. If this is our nature and how we flip through life, how are we even supposed to know what our personality is? We might know 5% of it, that we're naturally a little bit funny, or we're goofy, or we're a bit of a nerd, or we love academia, but there is so much more to us, and you actually have to commit the time to be able to find out and uncover what those parts are, especially when no one else is watching. That's when you uncover your authenticity. When you're outside of your comfort zone, when you're in new environments where nobody knows you and no one's going to perceive you that you necessarily care about, when you have the entire house to yourself, when you think about your first instinct of what you want to do before you then start considering what are people going to think, what if this fails, and all of that other BS we've been conditioned to think about. When you are more aware of who you are and you have a stronger sense of self, you're going to be so much more confident in establishing and setting stronger boundaries, because you know what your core values are, what your beliefs are, and what aligns to the type of person you are. When you float through and you haven't committed that time to uncovering your real self, it's so easy to go along with what everybody else wants, because you can't actually see how you're straying from what you need. Plus, when you're so sure of who you are, when you communicate no, or when you start letting people down and they don't want to be around you anymore and you're disappointing them, you actually also take confidence in that, because you're like, okay, this person doesn't align with who I am, good. Now I'm going to be able to find the people that do align with my authentic self. Once you are so aware of who you are, what you need, what your preferences are, you also want to find people that fit into your circle as well. And letting down people and phasing people away and cutting people out and them not wanting to be around with you is the most important factor in that. That's how you make sure that you're not wasting your time with all of these people that were never meant to be in your life in the first place. You're literally saving yourself time. Method 4, you need to start practicing exposure therapy toward mediocre interactions. Because guess what? It is not your responsibility to entertain others, to solve their problems, to make their day, to influence their mood. That's the truth of the matter. And as soon as you remember that and solidify that belief, the sooner you're finally going to be able to experience all of the joy and freedom that life is waiting to give to you. And so to be able to remember that fact and actually live by that so that your behavior aligns with those core true beliefs, you need to do some of the following. When someone asks you to do something you don't want to do, your response is, no, I won't be able to do that, without then trying to reschedule to make a time where you can do it, trying to overcompensate and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I can't believe that, feeling guilty for the fact you can't do that, or making up excuses and over-explaining yourself as to why you can't do the thing. Just not wanting to do the thing is absolutely fine in itself. The next time someone screws you over, a work colleague, a business partner that's not picking up the slack, or a friend that did you a little bit dirty, you're not gonna make excuses. You're not gonna wait till your emotions pass and then you're just gonna carry on as normal. But instead, you're going to validate your unhappy emotions and express them to help this person understand how they stressed you out or made you upset, so that then they can fix their behavior, understand you better, and to ensure that you don't have to experience that stressful situation ever again. You just did your future self a huge favor. My next point is all about self-love. Every single action you take on a daily basis is building the life that you live and will live. An example of this is when you're in a group setting and everyone's deciding where to eat and they ask you, where do you want to eat? And you're like, oh, I don't mind, we'll go where you want to go. Oh, that's a great idea, let's just do that. I really don't mind, I'll eat anything. That is yet another example of you not stepping up to create your own memories, your own experiences, and contribute to your own joy that day, even when you were literally handed the opportunity. But because you responded with people pleasing yet again, you're creating and improving everyone else's life experiences and memories but yours. People pleasing also is a self-love issue. It's the most self-loving thing to stand in your power, to express your opinions, to express your emotions so that people understand you and can actually act accordingly in how you expect them to, and vice versa, so that you can build relationships, work through conflict. And at the end of the day, I'm the biggest believer that our number one purpose every single day when we wake up should be to have a good day, to experience some sort of joy on this earth today, whether it be as small as getting our favorite ice cream flavor, telling people where we actually want to eat rather than just going along with their preferences all the time, or as big as cutting somebody off because they're too toxic in our lives, or going after something that we really want. Every single time you choose to people please instead, you are preventing yourself from experiencing any of that joy that was waiting for you the entire time. It's like a sliding doors moment. A sliding doors moment links into the movie where every single decision you make, there are two outcomes that are going to happen, and whichever outcome you're about to experience is determined by the response that you give to whatever question you're asked or action you are are about to take. So let's say every outcome on this side is always joy, links to authenticity, what you want to do, and every outcome on this side is the one that you are taking, which links to people pleasing. There are thousands and millions of outcomes on this side that you've never even seen because you continue to follow the same habits, the same behavioral patterns, the same answers on this side. And so you keep experiencing the same life. There's a whole other life and a whole other dimension right here that you are not letting yourself experience. And that leads me into my last point for this chapter, which is please give yourself compassion. I feel like I was a little bit brutal there and I did tell you guys off a little bit, but it's tough love. But most importantly, while you're realizing all of these lessons and you are shifting your behavior and shifting your mindset, you need to remember that this isn't your fault and people pleasing is unfair because nobody is naturally born a people pleaser. It's not an action that you choose to have or a personality trait that you adopt because it benefits you, because it's never going to benefit you. It's putting everybody else before you. It's something that you have been taught and conditioned to have by somebody else in your life or the way that you've been treated for an extended period of time. So remember, this isn't your fault. Please don't grow frustrated with yourself that, oh my God, I keep watching all these videos on how to stop people pleasing and I won't. Or why do I keep doing this? Or I'm so dumb that I keep putting everyone before me. You're not. You're literally not. And the version of you that was taught to put other people first needs you more than ever. And you need to show up for her by getting rid of that frustration and holding her hand through the process and being gentle and kind and compassionate and self-loving towards yourself and showing her a new way to live while forgiving her for past mistakes or any times that she may go back to what is familiar and comfortable because she's only lived that way her entire life. And that is understandable. And finally, chapter number 3, the ultimate people pleaser dialogue guide. Being assertive and confident and putting your foot down doesn't equal being unkind. And the example I'm about to break down in this chapter will show you exactly that, what to say, what behaviors to implement that actually aren't as scary as you might think they are in your head. And remember, every small act of self-assertion and confidence and authenticity you display will slowly act as building blocks to your confidence, which can get all the way up there. So let's really look at the difference and see how we're going to transform from being a people pleaser girl to an assertive bad bee who always gets her way while still being kind. And of course, I'm going to bring back our favorite girls to illustrate this example, Lola and Athena. Now these two girls are in the exact same boat. Their entire lives, they've pretty much been people pleasers and they're both desperately trying to break out of that habit. But Lola is really inclined to stick with what's familiar and comfortable to her. She is stuck with her people pleasing tendencies. She doesn't really know how to break out, and so she just goes with what she knows. Athena, on the other hand, although she's experienced the exact same problems, she is like, no, I'm gonna make an active effort to change the way that I show up, to change the way that I respond, because the more time I practice doing that, I'll build up my confidence and I'll actually make it a habit to no longer be a people pleaser anymore. So this is how they would respond in different situations. I know they upset me, but if I confront them, they're just gonna be upset with me. They might not talk to me, or they'll just be weird to me, or even worse, they'll probably start talking about what I said to other people, and I don't want that. If I communicate how this person has made me feel, which is literally my right, like nobody can tell me I can't be upset or stressed out at something, and then they want to react badly and talk badly about me to other people, one, not only does that show me their true colors, which saves me so much time in entertaining them any longer, but two, that's completely on them. I can't control them. They are fully in their right to express whatever emotion or act in whatever way they want. All that matters is I communicated what I needed and therefore did a favor to myself, and I did it in a completely polite and honest way. So I'm happy with how I showed up. I know she invited me to go, but honestly I'm just not feeling it. I don't really want to go out lately and parties just aren't my vibe. But it's rude if I don't, and I really don't want to hurt her feelings, and I also don't know what excuse I would even use because I don't have anywhere else to go. So I guess I'm just gonna have to go. Thank you so much for the invite. Honestly, this week has just really been a lot for me and I just don't have the energy for a lot right now, so I think I just need to go home, focus on myself, get my energy back up so then I can like study properly and just be there for others properly and just get my mind right again. But I hope you have the best time, and obviously I hope I can make it to the next one. But yeah, I don't want to kill the vibe or anything. I just want to make sure that I'm at 100% and I know that you'll understand, so thank you. It's just my boyfriend rarely spends time with me and I just feel like I have to plan everything all of the time and I'm just getting so annoyed with it. Why don't I tell him? Because he's just not gonna get it, and then he's gonna think that I'm unappreciative and I always complain, and I just don't want to be the naggy girlfriend, you know. I just want to keep him happy, so I really don't know what to do. I just wanted to sit you down and tell you that planning everything all of the time is just getting a lot for me, and I really wish that you would show up a little bit more in our relationship, and I would love to tell you some ideas on how you could do this that would make me happy. You're annoyed that I'm telling you that? I'm going to express something that genuinely upsets me in this relationship and you can't sit here, communicate with me and help me work through it, then this relationship is probably not for me. I'm so burnt out right now and I have so much on my plate and my boss is giving me another task and I'm just gonna have to do it because I don't want them to think I'm not a team player or give me a promotion. Just sucking up all of this stuff all the time just gets a lot and I literally don't even have time for any of my own joy or hobbies anymore. Yeah, my boss is just giving me so many tasks right now and I actually cannot deal. It's so much. I'm just gonna have to schedule a meeting or something and tell her because my current workload is already too much and I want to avoid not burning out and then still pushing myself beyond the limit. If she says no, she says no, but then at least I tried. See the difference? There was nothing scary about that. The difference between these two girls is that Athena might not 100% get her way because once again, you cannot control other people's opinions or reactions to you, but she is doing the self-loving favor of trying and showing up for herself anyway. Lola is giving up before she even starts, and that is not a very nice thing to do for yourself, to always be putting others before yourself. You deserve better than that, and I really hope this video showed you that and showed you that breaking out of this habit doesn't have to be impossible and it doesn't have to be scary and it doesn't have to result in everyone being upset with you. If there was a particular chapter, method or point I made in this video that really resonated with you, I would love if you commented down below. I always read through your comments and your feedback to make sure that I can improve every single video for you guys. So I'd love if you did that, or even if you have feedback or you want me to include something in a future video, or if you have a video request, I always write them down, like literally every single one. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching again. I love and appreciate every single one of you. I'm just honestly still so in awe that I get to upload these videos every single week. It's honestly a dream come true. I love that I can share the lessons that I've learned in my life with you guys, and I love to see you all implementing it, and I see your comments telling me the progress you've made. It just warms my heart. So keep up what you're doing because I'm so proud of you, and I will see you same time next week for a brand new video on Friday. Bye.